But why do you need to put on makeup? Well, this question from my daughter is prompting today's conversation. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's conversation. I am so glad that you are here. I hope you'll share in the comments where you're joining me from, whether it is live or via replay. And for those of you who are new here, I am Dr. Santino Ortina Wheat. I am an academic family physician and a career and life coach who is dedicated to helping healthcare workers and other busy professionals rediscover their purpose so that they can increase their balance and joy at home and at work, even in the face of burnout. Now, today, I want to talk about something that might seem small on the surface and maybe even trivial to some, but has had a huge impact on my well being. And that is why I will sometimes wear makeup and jewelry. And more importantly, how these small acts of self care helped me recover from burnout. Now, this conversation is not about beauty standards. It is not really about vanity. It is in actuality about mindset. It is about how caring for our appearance can actually be a reflection of how we care for ourselves. So I hope you'll sit down and get comfy and dive right in. So let's start with the question that made me pause. Now, recently, my youngest daughter, who I like to call my fashionista, has been asking me, well, Mommy, why are you putting on makeup? Why are you putting on earrings? Why are you wearing that necklace? Now, this is coming from a kid who has always loved to play dress up. She has a whole collection of pretend makeup, sparkly necklaces, cute little purses. It rounds out her closet, and she loves it when she gets to wear makeup for her competitions. So her curiosity made a lot of sense. I was a little bit worried that she was asking me to wear makeup at too young of an age. And so at first, I just brushed off the question. And I said, oh, because I like it. But the more that she was consistently asking me these questions, the more I started to think about it. Because for a long time, I wasn't wearing makeup. I wasn't putting on jewelry. I wasn't even thinking about it. It seemed like such a hassle. And when I reflected on why, I realized that it had everything to do with the burnout I was feeling. I don't know if you've ever had a time in your life where you just kind of stopped caring about things that used to matter to you. Maybe it was dressing up. Maybe it was hobbies that you loved. Maybe it was even just making time for yourself. I'm sure many of you can relate to those feelings at some point in time. And if you have, trust me, you're not alone. And today, I want to share how I found my way back. So it's impossible to talk about this without acknowledging the pandemic. That led to a lot of burnout and letting go of my appearance. Like so many of us in healthcare, the pandemic turned my world upside down. There were long shifts, there were constant stress, there was always wearing the mask, there was feeling that weight that the world was on my shoulders. There was feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders. Every day just felt like a survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, the last thing that you are thinking about is, what earrings should I wear today? For many of us, scrubs became our uniform. Makeup and jewelry, they felt pointless, and they even felt like they got in the way, especially with masks. And with the masks covering half of our faces, it felt like, why bother? Plus, it just felt exhausting to put in any extra effort. And honestly, this wasn't just me. So many of my colleagues felt the same way. We were all just trying to get through our days. And there was even the piece of some people getting side eye if they were still caring about their appearance. But here's what I didn't realize at the time. Letting go of my appearance wasn't just about being practical. It also was a sign of something deeper when it continued. As my burnout got worse, my appearance became even less of a priority. Most days, I would just throw my hair into a messy bun and I would call it good enough. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that became my uniform. I stopped thinking about what I wore. I stopped thinking about how I presented myself because at that point, I just did not have the energy. And looking back now, I see that it wasn't just about makeup. It wasn't just about the clothes. It was truly a symptom of something bigger. I was not just neglecting my appearance. I was neglecting myself in all reality. So let's talk about this shift that I was able to experience when I started caring for myself again. Because it is true, something actually shifted. As I started to recover from burnout, I found myself reaching for small things again. Maybe one day it was caring about a little bit of eye makeup. Or one day it was about actually putting in earrings because I didn't necessarily need to wear my stethoscope that day. When I started doing that, I felt a little bit more awake, a little bit more put together, a little bit more like me. And the important thing about this is because I was doing these things before I was experiencing burnout. This was not a brand new mode for me. And all of these made me feel a little bit brighter. It was slow, but each time I did something small, whether it was caring about my hair a little bit more that day, or putting on the jewelry, or choosing an outfit that made me feel more like me instead of wearing the scrubs that everyone else was wearing, I felt like I was being more intentional with myself. And that is when I remembered something I used to say all of the time. Dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. Now, I don't mean this just in the career sense. I mean it in a bigger way. For me, it became about stepping into the version of myself that I really wanted to be. I wanted to be someone who felt balanced, who was focused on their purpose, and felt pure joy. Interestingly enough, my daughter's curiosity about my makeup and my jewelry reminded me of something else. By taking care of myself, I was also setting an example for her. And my example for her is not that she needs to wear makeup or jewelry, but I want her to see that taking care of yourself, whatever that looks like for you, is important. That those moments of self-care are valuable. Because when we care for ourselves, we show up differently in the world. It allows us to have a little bit more confidence. And so let's talk about now why appearance matters, even though I know it really shouldn't. So let's be real for just a second. We all know that our worth is not based on how we look. That is something that I believe deeply. But at the same time, I have come to realize that appearance does matter. And this is not just in the way that society tells us it does. For me, caring about my appearance isn't about meeting a beauty standard. I never think that I'm going to be a fashion model. But it is about how I feel when I take the time to care for myself. When I put on makeup or jewelry, it is not about looking perfect. It is about feeling ready. It is ready to take on that day. It is ready to be present, to show up as my best self. It is a little bit for me like putting on armor, not to hide, but to prepare. And here is what I know. The version of me who's putting in that little bit of effort, she is not the same woman who was drowning in burnout. That is what these little acts represent for me. They are not pressure. They are not perfection. They are just progress. And so now I have a question for you. What is your version of this? For me, I just mentioned it's a little bit of makeup and a little bit of jewelry. But for you, it might be something totally different. Maybe for you, it's putting on your favorite outfit. Maybe it's going for that run. Maybe it's doing a 5-minute meditation before you start your day, or giving yourself a high five in that mirror. Whatever it is, I want to know, what is the one small thing that you do that makes you feel ready and confident to face your day? I hope you'll drop it in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. And I would love to know what part of this resonates with you. So, why do I wear makeup and jewelry? Well, because it helps me feel like me. It is a small act of self care that reminds me that I am worth the effort. It is not about other people, it is about me being worth the effort. And if you are navigating burnout or just trying to reclaim your balance and joy, I encourage you to find your own version of this. Because sometimes it is truly the smallest acts that make the biggest difference. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If this resonated with you, I hope that you will hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I hope that you'll share this with someone else who might enjoy this content. And let's keep this conversation going. Share in the comments what you do for yourself. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And if you feel like you could use support, I hope you'll reach out and schedule a one-on-one chat about how I may be able to help you. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time.